On a chilly October evening, Sarah returned home from her late shift at the diner. She lived on the outskirts of town, where the streetlights were sparse, and shadows stretched ominously across the road. As she walked toward her driveway, she noticed a clown standing beneath the flickering streetlight across the street. The clown was motionless, staring at her. Its oversized red shoes glistened in the dim light, and its face was painted with a smile that seemed too wide, too unnatural. Sarah laughed nervously, thinking it was some prankster, and hurried inside, locking the door behind her. Later that night, as she settled into bed, she heard faint laughter, childlike and chilling. Thinking it was her imagination, she ignored it. But then came a tap 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 on her bedroom window. Her heart raced. She lived on the second floor. Peeking through the curtain, she saw nothing but darkness. Breathing a sigh of relief, she turned back to her bed, and froze. There, standing at the foot of her bed, was the clown. Its painted grin stretched even wider, revealing jagged teeth. "How did you?" Sarah's voice broke as she stumbled back. The clown raised a single finger to its lips, hushing her. The next morning, Sarah's neighbor called the police after noticing her front door ajar. They found no signs of forced entry, no struggle, only a single red balloon tied to her bedpost. Sarah was never seen again, but reports of a strange clown lurking around her neighborhood persisted for weeks. Locals now warn each other. If you see a clown standing still under a streetlight, don't look away. It only moves when you're not watching. Maya and her friends stumbled upon a faded poster tacked to an old oak tree while hiking through the dense woods. "The Great Grinsby Circus," it read, with an unsettling image of a clown grinning ear to ear. The circus had shut down decades ago after a series of mysterious disappearances. Urban legends whispered of Grinsby the clown still haunting the woods, luring victims with his laughter. Brushing off the warning, the group continued deeper into the forest, laughing nervously at the absurdity of the tale. As the sun set, an eerie giggle echoed through the trees. They froze, the sound too close for comfort. "Must be the wind," Sam joked, his voice trembling. Suddenly, a burst of laughter, this time sharper, maniacal, pierced the silence. Maya's flashlight flickered, illuminating the gaunt figure of a clown. His oversized shoes crunched on the leaves as he stepped forward, his painted smile cracking like porcelain. In one hand he held a twisted balloon animal, in the other a jagged knife. The group scattered, running blindly through the forest. Maya tripped, her hands landing in something sticky. Raising her flashlight, she realized she had fallen onto a pile of decayed circus costumes. The stench made her gag, but the sight behind her was worse. Grinsby stood there, his empty eyes glinting in the faint light. "Why leave so soon?" he rasped. His laugh grew louder as he raised his knife. Maya screamed, her voice swallowed by the oppressive darkness. In the distance, her friends heard her cries, but none dared to return. The next morning, all that remained was Maya's flashlight, flickering weakly beside a crimson-stained balloon animal. Lila hated clowns. Their painted faces, eerie smiles, and hollow eyes always made her uneasy. Yet, when the carnival rolled into town, her friends dragged her along. "It'll be fun," they said. Among the flashing lights and laughter, a tall figure stood at the edge of the fairground, a clown. His face wasn't painted, it was unnaturally pale, with sunken eyes and a red, sinister smile that stretched unnervingly wide. He waved at Lila, but his hand barely moved. Something about him froze her in place. As the night progressed, Lila couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Every time she turned, the clown was there, near the cotton candy stand, by the carousel, and finally in the mirror maze. Her friends had wandered off, leaving her alone. She ventured into the maze, the distorted reflections amplifying her unease. Then she saw him, his reflection among the others. It wasn't warped. It was too clear, too real. Panicking, she sprinted through the maze, but no matter where she turned, his figure loomed closer. His heavy footsteps echoed, mismatched with her own. The mirrors began to crack as his laughter filled the air, low and guttural. Lila stumbled out into the open field, breathless and shaking. The carnival was gone. The lights, the music, her friends, everything had vanished. All that remained was the clown standing a few feet away. "Why run, Lila?" His voice was smooth yet laced with menace. "The fun is just beginning." As he stepped closer, she noticed his face was no mask. It was flesh, his eyes black pits of malice. He reached out a hand, and the ground beneath her seemed to dissolve into darkness. The next morning, the carnival reopened, but Lila's friends never found her. The clown, however, had a new balloon red as blood, floating lazily by his side.